Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Eddie, and it's the final episode. The final episode of Heavenly Delusion. It's actually over, guys. Oh, man. Fortunately, it looks like Season 2 has been announced, but I'm not sure how long it is going to be until we get to Season 2, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, episode 12, the final episode, and hearing that OP for the last time, well, not the last time, I could always go back and listen to it, but hearing that OP for the last time in a brand new for a brand new episode of Heavenly Delusion is man, it's something. It's something for sure. But regardless of all that, we start off the episode with the Heaven segment, which had me screaming at the computer because I needed to know if Kiriko was going to be safe. Fortunately, I found this segment quite entertaining regardless. I like both segments. I've heard some people say that they prefer the Heaven segments to the Delusion segments, which is Kiriko, and Maru to the Heaven segments, which is the, Heaven, which is Takahara Academy. But honestly, I really enjoy both. So anyways, I really found it funny that these kids are just so insulated from everything that they still think it's all part of a test. After the explosion, after like all that crazy stuff, after literally breaking out, they still think they're in this controlled environment and that they're still part of this test. They literally can't think of anything beyond the academy, and that's why, as a result, they're all like asking about, oh, why did they have to make it so hot in here? Why do they have to make it so hot in here? Yada yada yada. But I feel like some deep down instinctual fear did kind of surface up as they realized the birds flying overhead and all that stuff. The bugs, all that. Anyways, when Taka and Anzu finally split up with Shiro and Mimihime, I honestly figured that, as with the separation from the pool and the outside, I figured that this too would result in a separation that would and they would never see each other again. I was pretty sure that, once you guys split up, since you guys don't know your way, you guys are never going to see each other again. I was wrong, but I'll get to that I'll get to that one later. I really love how Sawatari here is trying to act all professional and cool, as if he knows which child is which, when in reality he doesn't, So I guess Tokyo really did give birth to twins. I just love how childish the adults are acting here. I guess everyone's a kid deep down on the inside. Yeah, sure, you got Sawatari saying, oh, trust me, I totally know which kid is which. Just a side note, what's the difference exactly? How are they different? Anyways, Sawatari's like, oh yeah, I totally know the difference, guys. Bro, trust me. And then you got Aoshima here making up the plan to protect the kids and calling it Operation Noah. Or sorry, Project Noah. She just goes all chuny and says, I'm gonna call it Project Noah. And the technician's like, what's that? And she's just like, I'm sorry, I made it up on the spot. So yeah, that was really funny. But after all that, we finally arrived to the Delusion segment of the show, and oh boy. Maru left Kiriko for 2 whole days. 2 whole days with a fucking rapist Robin. God. 2 whole days. Oh my god. I'm gonna get an aneurysm from this. I breathed a sigh of relief when he finally decided to set out to find Kiriko, and then I freaking cheered when he went all John Wick and started beating up the guards. Now, I do have to make a little caveat here. I'm not actually sure if the guards, are aware of what Robin's doing, but I choose to believe that they do because it makes me feel, it means that, what's his name? Maru has absolutely no excuse to let these guys go. And also, one of the guards was like, oh yeah, Kiriko and Robin, it was too much, which suggests that yes, they do know what is going on, sadly. Moving on, that scene with Kiriko thinking about themselves as Haruki in Kiriko's body was very well directed and very poignant. I'm a huge fan of well-directed montages during moments of introspection as a character thinks about whatever they're thinking about, and it's no different here. We're really seeing how Haruki's brain in Kiriko's body is really, transforming into Kiruko, Where Haruki ends and Kiruko begins is starting to get all muddled up, as not only do they already have their pre-existing Haruki memories, but they also start to see their Kiriko memories, like, just seeping into their brain and stuff. I also figured out what those gunshots were back in that flashback episode. Quite clearly, it looks like Robin was the one that shot Kiriko. For what reason, I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks like he did. And that's why he was so shocked when he saw Kiruko walk up to him. Again, I could really feel the pain in Kiruko as well. They do this emotion thing well, just like how they did in last episode. Not only did they get raped by someone she trusted, which is already two very big doozies, but they're still grappling with their identity post-surgery, even after all these years. I was so happy when Maru showed up, and that happiness turned to anger and joy when I saw, Robin walk in. I was all like, oh, it's time. Beat his ass. Beat his ass. I was just chanting, beat his ass. So hard, and I got exactly what I wanted. Just that fear in his face when seeing Maru, and then seeing even more fear in his face when he realizes that the guards are unconscious was just, mwah, that was really good. Everything I wanted is what I would like to say, but actually not entirely. Firstly, I wish Maru said something to him about hurting Kiriko, and even after beating her unconscious, I don't think that was enough. Also, how is Kiriko able to untie her ropes? Kiriko, you know how to untie these ropes the whole time? I mean, I get it, it probably wouldn't have made a difference considering that there's guards everywhere, and Robin could also probably, force them back, but I don't know, I just feel like it kind of cheapens it. I kind of wish Maru had, gone up and untied her instead. I feel like that would have been a little better. I don't know. And while I could totally understand why Kiriko didn't want Maru to kill Robin, let's be honest here, most of us still wanted blood. Anyhow, skipping back to the Heaven segment, Tokyo learns that she is a mother, and what being a mother is. Also what babies look like, so there's that. That was just really wholesome. Or, well, at least until the crazy evil lady showed up. I guess we gotta have a shit bag I guess we gotta have some shit stain in both story segments, right? She honestly, her VA, I gotta give kudos to the VA. She really sounds like some evil witch. And honestly, she might as well be the modern equivalent of one, given how her control over the, Mina bot is basically magic. Anyhow, I got really concerned when Tokyo started to turn into a man-eater. Now, I mean, I've braced myself for a long time knowing that Tokyo or any of these kids might eventually turn into man-eaters. So I was prepared for that, but I was worried about the child. And as much as I'd like for the director lady to die during Tokyo's transformation, I'm not sure how that would affect the baby. And I don't want to say I've given up. And while I don't want to be too greedy and say that, I must make Tokyo live because I'm pretty sure she's going to die, let's be honest here. I don't want the baby to die. The director, as much as I hate the director, I don't want the baby to die. And if Tokyo lives, that would also be really great too. Anyhow, so all that aside, I presume Maru is the other child then. That moment when Tokyo asks Kona, what are we, was just very poignant, and I don't know, I don't know how to say it. It's just deep. I don't know how else to put it. Going back to Shiro and Mimihime, I gotta say, we got such a major Shiro W today. While his theory on being able to get back to the academy is very wrong, given the information they have, I don't think it was too unreasonable to, assume that would be correct. They're not, though. They're not. And the moment they were like, hey, are you sure it was this far back? I already know. Yeah, no, you two are lost. You two are very lost. Anyhow, him saving Mimihime and that freaking confession was just a major Shiro W. What a mad lad. Okay? What a mad lad. Apparently the song that played during the confession was from the Mimihime death scene in episode 8. And we also got Mimihime giving Shiro her button as if it wasn't obvious that these two are the ill-fated couple from episode 8 already. And someone also mentioned that Shiro looks a lot more like Usami with his hair slicked back. But again, I digress. I love this. I really like this. But right after following this massive Shiro W, we switch back to the Delusion segment for another massive Maru W today. As Kiriko despairs about them not knowing who they are anymore, Maru comes and tells them that while he knows that Kiriko isn't fully Haruki nor Kiriko, and while that he wouldn't have, or at least is unsure of, respectively, fallen for these two, that he loves Kiriko at the very least. Like, he'd be good friends with Haruki, and he may or may not fall in love with Kiriko, but that's not the case. It's Kiriko, and he's into her, basically. And that was, man, that was such a Maru W. We got a lot of L's, but we also got a lot of W's today. So yeah, Kiriko tears up the photo of her, of formerly him, with Robin, the Haruki and Robin photo, and just throws it to the wind, I guess, which is just ending this whole thing, ending that whole chapter of their life very poignantly. By the way, is no one going to point out that Kiriko is still wearing the Robin's jacket? I mean, I get at this point that they're probably not going to change it because it's just such a iconic element of Kiriko's character, but is no one going to talk about that? This is still Robin's jacket, Anyhow, with Maru swearing vengeance upon Robin, who I'm pretty sure is going to be a recurring villain, I can't wait for season 2. But all that aside, it looks like Robin really was doing some real fucked up shit in the the Takahara basements. Because that one door he tried running to back in that other episode. Well, we got these we got these ministry officials coming over. I guess they really weren't involved with all the terrible shit Robin was doing. Coming over and discovering what was inside that locked door. I at first thought it was the remnants of Tokyo, but I realized that they probably wouldn't have put Tokyo in such a throwaway location like this. Also, Maru says, we're going to keep going on and we're gonna find... we still got a job to do because they still haven't... Despite having found the Takahara Academy ruins, they still haven't found the person that looks just like him. So we're not quite there yet. So I'm pretty sure that's not Tokyo. Anyhow, that poor lady... I suspect that this was probably Kiriko's fate had Maru not come and saved her. I wouldn't be surprised if he raped this poor lady too before throwing her as man-eater bait. But yeah, again, seems like the Ministry really wasn't involved with all of Robin's illicit activities, given how shocked they all seemed. Anyhow, but yeah, that's that. And I guess we all got a little epilogue here, with the credits start playing and all that. And while I'm still a little sour over how Kiriko just decides to quote-unquote move on, I reasoned it up to her being in shock and saying that she fully hasn't processed it yet, because if she really got over all that trauma with just that talk, like, I'm sorry, that's not how people work. Anyhow, I hope the trauma aftershocks are coming later, because as bad as I feel for Kiriko, I mean, let's just be honest here. It's got to be real. Let's have some realism here. For now, we have our happy ending as Maru and Kiriko move on in search of new adventure and to eventually complete their mission. And of course, you got to end this all with that shot of that torn photo of Haruki's face, which is just a very, very poetic way to end things. As for the after credits, it looks like we see Taka, Anzu, Shiro, and Mimihime all heading towards a city, which, okay, so 100% confirmation that this is a past. But also, I'm presuming that this is a tease for season 2, which, yes, we've got some, we're pretty sure it's coming, but there hasn't been official confirmation yet. It's mostly fan leaks so we know there's season 2, but it hasn't been officially announced yet. So yeah, I guess this is a teasing for season 2, so I can't wait for that. Anyhow, and that's the end of the show. Okay, amazing show, okay? Probably my anime of the season. I feel like this last one was amazing, but I do feel like the sexual assault was kind of glossed over, and I'm a little disappointed by that, which does, sour my opinion of the ending a little bit, but you can't ignore the masterpiece that this anime was throughout this entire time. Episode 8 especially was just so good, okay? So, yeah, that's the show, that's the anime, that's the end of it, and yeah. So I guess I'm not gonna do a review of all the animes I watched this season in separate videos. I'm just gonna release it in one like massive spring 2023 anime list. So yeah, new video format. So yeah, you're probably gonna hear me talk about Heavenly Delusion in that segment too. But yeah, that was I'd say this is definitely my anime of the season. It's so well done. This is exactly what I was looking for, and yeah, I hope you all enjoy this anime as much as I did, and that is that. If you enjoyed this video, please everyone leave a like, subscribe, comment if you haven't done all those things already, and smash that bell for more general anime content. Well, whatever I don't know. What do you guys want? I don't know. Leave that down in the comments below. And I guess that is that. Sky's up, and I just gotta say, see you. Bye-bye.